we have the current stock market update for Intel Corporation, stock ticker INTC. Before we begin with today's chart analysis, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comment section so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So here we have a 15-minute price chart. Each candle on this price chart represents a 15-minute trading period. And as we can see, these prior projections, which have expected share prices for Intel to rocket higher, have come to fruition. Previously, what we were looking at was the formation of a bull pennant pattern, which shows a pennant pole, sort of a flag pole, and then sort of a pennant, like a flag type shape, which does indicate that there is potential for further upside if we do see share prices break above the top of that pennant pattern. So clearly this did occur here, and we can sort of zoom in on the price chart a bit to focus on this area here. We did see this this chart pattern resolve to the top side here, and we are seeing some fairly strong gains now in the periods that have followed. So most recently, what we're looking at here is a share price gain that has posted highs coming right in around 2406. This is important, obviously, because we're currently we're ready to run into that psychological level at $25 here relatively soon. So, the question about whether or not we can actually overcome that level still remains to be seen. Currently, what we're dealing with, however, though, is a chart pattern here that has resolved itself to the top side. And currently, what we're looking at here will be a price projection that would look something like this. So currently what we'd be dealing with, let's just sort of drill on the price chart here. Currently, this does suggest that at the very least, we could see a retest of that $25 area. The top of this projection here does come in right around there, not much further above there. So what you could actually start to see here could be a bit of a price failure right around the $25 mark, because the actual projection here is slightly above there. And my assumption here would be that if we do actually break above that $25 mark, I think that we would see a bit more follow through than what this current pattern is currently suggesting. So as things stand here, I think what the most likely scenario that we would be looking at here, if we do see a retest of this prior, this $25 zone, I do think that we could start to see a bit of selling pressure at that point, probably some profit taking, and that should force prices a bit to the downside. We should start to see a pullback at that point. But then the real question is whether or not share prices are able to overcome that downside selling pressure and regain some positive momentum. Because if that does happen, then I do think that we would be in store then for a break to the top side above that $25 mark. So this is fairly significant here because most of the projections for this stock, ever since that last earnings report, there have been a huge number of sort of bearish projections here for this stock, and there are many people that even called for single digits. So I mean, can you imagine Intel trading at $9 per share? I mean, it seems excessive. It seems extreme. And it really is extreme, and the current price action here is proving that out, because what we're seeing here is that those prior losses were excessive. A lot of that was based on the surprise nature of that most recent earnings report. For example, we saw a suspension of the dividend, which is a huge moment. I mean, that's really a historic moment for the company. One of the biggest selling points for Intel as a bullish trading position was found in that dividend itself. There are not very many technology companies that offer a dividend like that. We're starting to see a little bit more of a trend movement into that direction. For example, Meta Platforms, the Facebook parent company, they recently started offering a small dividend. Google started to do that as well. Alphabet, the parent company. But those dividends are still relatively small in size, and Intel has been doing that for quite a while. I mean, it really was one of the main selling points for the stock, and anybody that was looking at longer term positions for a turnaround in this company really would have benefited strongly from being able to hold on to the stock and collect that dividend as well. So when they removed that in the most recent earnings report, they announced that they were going to be suspending the dividend. In my view, this is really what led to a lot of the selling pressure. It really changed the outlook for the company, and that is really what showed that the company is in more trouble, in my view. I mean, a lot of people were focusing on The layoffs. Intel announced that they were going to be dismissing 15% of its workforce. A lot of people were focusing on that because that typically tends to be the bigger warning signal. If a company is engaging in layoffs, it suggests that that there are problems at the company, and that they're in trouble in some way. But in my view, that workforce was actually a bit bloated. It was the same size as Nvidia's workforce. It did not need to be that large. I actually think that the reduction in the workforce was actually a healthy price move. But I don't think the same thing can be said for the reduction in the dividend, for the suspension of the dividend. I mean, that really changes the outlook from an investment perspective, and it really makes it much more difficult to justify longer term positions in this stock. I'm not saying that that people shouldn't be buying Intel stock, but it really does remove a major incentive for holding on to the stock for a longer period of time. So, what we're currently seeing here, is the resolution of this pattern. We are clearly seeing a very strong price movement to the top side. Uh, this can be expected based on the prior chart pattern that was developing previously. So this really isn't a surprise that we're seeing these movements to the top side. But the what we do have to focus on at the moment is this near-term support zone, which currently comes in right around 2280, just below there. I'll write that in here. It's just below 2280. So if we were to see a share price break below this area, I would start to suggest that maybe this uptrend here, this rally, has probably run its course and completed itself. You could start to see some sideways trading activity at that point. Currently, share prices are attempting to hold above the exponential moving average cluster, but if we zoom in here, you can see that that's starting to break down a bit. So I think that what we could be in store here would be a bit of a sideways price movement. I mean, we have seen a very strong movement here to the top side. We've moved from, just above $20 per share to greater than $24 per share. So, it might not seem like a huge price movement, but in percentage terms, that is a very big price movement. And this follows a drastic decline in share prices. I mean, there was a lot of momentum that was being focused on the downside direction. So just quickly here, we'll finally look at the indicator readings themselves, because there is a little bit of negative selling pressure that's starting to develop in the relative strength index, as we can see here. But however, the longer term trend here does remain positive. So we can see that for the most part, bullish momentum is supporting this stock throughout these moves. And we have not seen share prices decline enough to erode or invalidate that uptrend in share price momentum. So here's the current stock market update for Intel Corporation, stock ticker INTC. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership, and start trading stocks with the pros.